our cost of living, to pay more for a printed product and have it and keep it and relook at it and so on and so forth, then just browse through the internet.
So this would mean that of course we pay for information, and the majority of people would recognize the value of journalists again and would be willing, by free will, to make it possible for them to work freely. Same for musicians.
Yes.
So this could this be by a budget from the government, or should it not be?
No, the government should keep its dirty hands out of it. I think the government are too needy for funds and for money as to let them freely spend what is needed without any justification, because the government...
Also they want to use, of course, these talented people that can write and research for their purpose.
Well, as long as it would be objective, but the government is sustained by the voters. The voters are parties, and if the voters, the parties don't like what the government is spending its money on, they won't give the money to the government. And as soon as the government spends money on really objective trade journals, special journalists, the parties, or some parties, will say, stop the payment.
Mm.
So it cannot be part of the government budget.
Mm. So really it should be a movement. Maybe it's also existing already, I'm sure it is, internet platform for free journalism or whatever.
Properly explained, with the right kind of halo. What did the Catholic Church live from? Of holding out their hand.
Yes, and claiming that they have a better connection to God than we have.
So what we have to do is tell these people, that those Catholics that believe it, we have to tell them that we know more, we know better, and they should believe us and not some imaginary God.
Mm.
And as long as the Catholic Church, in this sense, does us the favor of having a Cardinal Ratzinger who is playing a game which doesn't really work.
Mm.
And he right now he's trying to step back, but he doesn't get it.
He's trying to step back, okay.
Yeah, he tried to stay back because he was rigorous in letting this bishop, that group that pretends there was no Holocaust and so on and so forth.
Mm.
He threw them out of the church, and then he let them in again.
Mm-hmm.
And now he gave them until April to say yes, the Holocaust existed.
Mm.
They won't.
Mm. Would you see, however, internet as a big chance, because I think we don't have a lot of time. If we want to educate young people, it will take 10, 20, 30 years. And we said before that the situation in the world has never been that risky.
More dangerous.
More dangerous. So could the suggestion be to the people really to find their power and to talk freely, make videos, write in the internet, and say their opinion that they researched? I find that during the Occupy movement there was a lot of talking going on Facebook and so on, but now I find that either they control my information, what I get, or people fell down and became afraid again and don't talk that much anymore. So what do you propose to the people, or what would you wish for yourself that would happen?
Listen, life has always had its dangers. And you cannot simply ignore or expect those dangers to go away.
Yes.
And if we want to really do something about the current dangers, we have now, in my opinion, no other choice but to be willing to risk that young generation, those 30 years, in the hope that it'll go well. And to teach these young people what their responsibilities, their possibilities, their needs are. And if we don't start there, the teachers won't spend the extra time unless in certain conditions we force them to do it. But if they then exercise what they learned, that's another question.
So what is your, to finish, what is your feeling if they would start another war in Iran or even a third world war? Is there a chance that all of a sudden, you know, from the cracks from a water dam, the water dam breaks and the soldiers of the world, even though they are paid, they are professional soldiers from the US, they would say, I did see on YouTube that they were already in front of White House, but what is your feeling? Could this happen, that they would say, no, we don't do this, we don't like this profession anymore, we cannot support it?
Well, are you talking about the Americans?
Could be Americans, could be Israelis, could be Iran, whoever starts again.
You have movements in all of those countries that say that.
Yeah.
But you also have movements in all of those countries that say, "Ugh."
Yes.
And my opinion is that the only thing that you can do is take the time of building up from the bottom. Those parties won't give in. And those cultural differences, religious differences, are already in the Islam. I mean, the inventor of Muslims, it took 68 years before the Brotherhood broke apart. And they're still fighting today.
I see what you mean.
Muhammad was brought something new, and it took 68 years before the tribes under him split already. And they fought since then, still today.
Okay, so, but still, the hope we have is talk freely, talk without fear, and let's hope that we don't need 30 years
that's the hope. We
to
have
make
to do
big
something.
changes. Exactly,
We have to
act, talk.
I'm giving you an interview. Next week, I'm giving an interview to the trade journalist, trade paper.
Yes.
I talked at the gymnasium, and I talked in Wuppertal at university, and I'll probably make a film in Paris one of these days. I'm doing what I can from my side in the hope that it helps. I can't do any more, and I don't expect to be able to do it for more than another 7 or 10 years.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much, Toby, for this great talk with you.
Thank you for listening.
And we really hope that you like this and that it gave you some inputs, some impulses, what you want to do further in your life.